Hello everyone, I'm back with another video. Ignore my hair, I know it's not looking its best. She is on her last two legs, okay? Let's just ignore her. She's not having a good week. Please, be polite. Ignore it. Ignore my nails as well. Yeah. I'm just gonna call out all my flaws right now. I know. I'm a mess. I am getting my master's degree. It's midterms, so this is what you get. That's it. That's all my bases. Are all my bases covered? And I'm gonna make sure that it is recording. Also, ignore my PJs. You do it too. Business on the top, comfy on the bottom. I don't know if this is what you describe as business, but you know what? Hey, you do what you gotta do. Anyways, this week I am going to be giving extinct animals the clout they deserve. You know, apparently 99% of all existing life is now extinct. Well, I heard that in a nature documentary once. That's a lot. That's a lot of life that isn't here today. And that is crazy because right now today, there are like billions of living creatures? I don't know. Of life? Things that are living? Because that also includes plants, okay? We can't forget about plants. Now, are these the coolest extinct animals? No, because I can't do that in one video. There's so many animals that have been extinct, so I can't just be like, oh, these are the coolest ones. But these are some cool ones. These are some cool ones, okay? These are ones that are cool. I tried to find ones that hopefully you haven't heard of that aren't, you know, like obviously the T-Rex is cool. Obviously the Megalodon is cool, but everybody knows what they are. Everybody has heard of them. Everybody has seen them. They're old news. They're boring. So I don't want to talk about ones that everybody's heard of, okay? I want to enlighten you with some new ones, maybe. Maybe you haven't heard of them. Or maybe you're a freaking nature freak and you've heard of all of them. Hey, big guy. Not all of us can be, you know, the coolest person to walk the planet Earth and know every single extinct animal that has ever existed, you know? Not all of us have that charisma, that charm, that oomph, that it factor. Some of us are just trying to exist. Some of us are just trying to survive. Some of us can barely pass finance class. The first one we're going to be talking about today is the Sicilian pygmy elephant. Okay, wait. Hear me out. I know, an elephant, snooze. No, not boring, guys. So the Sicilian pygmy elephant descended from one of the largest elephants to ever exist, called the straight-tusked elephant. But the Sicilian pygmy elephants are 8,000 kilograms smaller on average than the straight-tusked elephant, okay? And that's not even the craziest part. The craziest part is the quickness in which they evolved to be that much smaller. It is estimated, based on science, it's estimated that it only took 40 generations for the straight-tusked elephant to shrink down to the abysmal size of the Sicilian pygmy, okay? Straight-tusked elephants were around 4.5 meters tall and weighed about 14 tons. Now, this is crazy in comparison to the Sicilian pygmies, and there were two types of Sicilian pygmies. They existed in different times, so the first one that existed had went extinct before the second one came about. The first Sicilian elephants were teensy compared to other elephants. They were only a meter in height, okay, compared to the 4 meters of their ancestors, and they only weighed 300 kilograms compared to 14 tons, okay, which I don't know the ton to kilogram. I don't know the conversion. Let me look it up. How much is a ton in kilograms? Okay, so 1 ton is 907 kilograms. So they went from 14 tons to not even 1 ton, actually a third of a ton in 40 generations. What is happening? As a reference, the Sicilian pygmy, the first kind of them, they were around the size of a Shetland pony. Like, that is what they were like. That's like so cute. So the second species came about after the first kind went extinct. Bless their heart. Bless up. Rip. They were so cute and I'm so sad. So the second species were about 2 meters tall and 1,000 kilograms in weight. So they were slightly bigger. Not slightly. They were like twice as big, but they We're all so cute. Now, nobody knows as to why this island randomly results in many animals shrinking so much. Sicily has actually been referred to as the land of the miniatures because there seems to be a weird phenomenon there that animals who end up there shrink, and we aren't exactly sure why that is. We have no idea. If you have any theories, leave them in the comments. Nobody also knows how they got to Sicily. It is a mystery to us. We aren't sure what happened there. There is one theory that suggests that the elephants wandered there when the sea levels were around 100 meters lower, so they were able to get to the island, and then the sea levels rose again and it kind of trapped them there. But again, we don't know. That's just a theory. Don't quote me. I don't know, okay? Also, since we're on the topic of elephants, shout out to shovel-tusked elephants. They are so cool looking. I found them during my research for Sicilian pygmy elephants, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are those? No, they're so weird and cool looking, and I was obsessed when I saw one, so I just had to show you guys a picture. So this next animal you've probably heard of. She's famous. She's A-list status. She gets VIP everywhere she goes. She is the Tasmanian tiger. This species is also called the thylacine, which is Greek for dog-headed pouched animal. Didn't have to roast her so hard, you know? And this is because they are marsupials. So they have a pouch, okay? Like a kangaroo. They birth their young, and instead of them being fully developed and ready to pop out, you know, into the world around us, they have to stay in a pouch for a while, and they finish developing in the pouch. And actually, the males also have a pouch, not just the females. Equality. The Tasmanian tigers were the last species to exist within the thylacine family, and they have now been extinct for nearly a century. So not that long. They are so recently extinct, in fact, that we actually have footage of the last living Tasmanian tiger, or at least the last living one to our knowledge. There's a lot of theories that people have seen Tasmanian tigers, and it's almost like Bigfoot, where many people believe they still exist. So keep your eye out. Maybe you'll find one. It is thought that there was at least 7 different species within the thylacine family, and that thylacines date back to 30 million years ago, but the Tasmanian tigers have only been around for 4 million years. So. And you might have noticed from the pictures that they're not tigers at all. Even the name means dog-headed pouched animal, not tiger-headed pouched animal. So why are they called Tasmanian tigers? Well, funny you should ask. They have stripes. To me, it's even more like a hyena vibe. Like, I have no idea why we all gathered around and said, yep, that's a tiger. Like, that's a tiger. No. Some people are like, no, that's not a tiger. I'm some people. Me. That's me. And they refuse to call it Tasmanian tiger, so some people say Tasmanian wolf, which makes more sense, but also it's not a wolf, guys. Like, can we get it together? It is a dog-headed pouched animal. Like, hello. So these animals were very intimidating looking, but alone they actually weren't like that intimidating. They were around 39 to 51 inches long with a 20-inch tail. They were carnivorous and they hunted in packs. They would often ambush their prey. That's how they would attack. They also had huge jaws, and their jaws would open up to 80 degrees wide, but their bite was fairly weak, so it was mostly show. Yeah, they were not like chomping, you know. Because of their weak jaws, when the dingoes came around, they were really intimidating competition, and they couldn't handle that level of competition. So the combination of human hunters coming after them and dingoes as competition, they eventually just withered out and went extinct. The reason why we would hunt them was not for meat or for fur or for any reason other than there was basically a huge hate campaign against them. They were a victim of libel, and people thought that they were coming for their livestock, but they only only ate small rodents, so they really weren't a threat to livestock, they really weren't a threat to farmers, and we just hunted them for no reason. So that's really sad and annoying. So yes, it is more than likely our fault that they went extinct, but we're actually working to bring them back. Scientists are going to try to grow a Tasmanian tiger from scratch. They are going to do this from using RNA sequenced from a 132-year-old specimen. I guess we'll see how that goes. We're trying to reverse some of the damage we did with the power of science. But I don't know. We're also growing meat in labs right now, so. Pelagornis. Our next one is the Pelagornis. The Pelagornises, Pelagorni, Pelagorninis, they lived about 25 to 28 million years ago, okay? And they predominantly resided in European. But they were travelers. They were nomadic, okay? They actually kind of lived everywhere. So, I don't know. They were presumed to have been able to fly very far distances, which is why they were able to travel a lot. Cause of extinction is unknown with these guys. Some theorize that it was due to climate change just because of the timing. It seems that they went extinct, which was around 11,700 years ago, and it just seemed to line up when a lot of climate changes were happening. So the first fossil was found in 1857, but it wasn't until 100 years later that we could really draw any conclusions from this because we just didn't have enough information. But in the year 1983 in Charleston, South Carolina, multiple fossils were found by construction workers who were working to build a terminal for the Charleston International Airport. So they were literally just construction workers doing their job, and they stumbled upon a bunch of fossils. Like, that is so cool to me. After this, more fossils were found in 2008, 2010, 2014, and 2016 in Marambio, an island in Antarctica. Their skulls are around 16 inches in length. Their skull was like that big. Their wingspan is about 16 to 20 feet long. This is so long, you guys. I don't know if you even understand how long that is, but that's very long. That's a very long wingspan. And they were able to fly. So this makes them the largest flying bird ever to exist. Now, don't be confused, okay? Because the biggest non-flying bird to ever exist is the elephant bird. So if you were like,
wait, I thought that was the elephant bird.
It is. The biggest bird in general is the elephant bird, but they don't fly. They don't fly. The biggest flying bird is the Pelagornis. She's that girl, don't get it twisted. Now, the Pelagornis wasn't only intimidating due to its size. It was also intimidating because these mofos had teeth. They had teeth, except for their teeth weren't really teeth. They were used like teeth, but they weren't technically teeth because they weren't bone that like were attached to their jaw. It was actually like teeth-like structures and just grew out of their beak. To be scientifically correct, they weren't teeth, but they were teeth. You know what I mean? They were teeth, and they would be used to catch prey and gulp the prey down. Yeah, so that's also pretty terrifying. Stay away from me and my child. This next animal that I'm going to be talking about were like IRL Pokemon. They're called Glyptodons. Glyptodons were huge. They were the size of a small car. They would get up to 11 feet long and 5 feet tall. And their max body weight was around 2 tons, aka 4,400 pounds, okay? 4,400 pounds. That's a lot of lbs. The Glyptodons were essentially humongous armadillos, and they weren't the only ones, okay? They were a genus of the species Glyptodonts, but Glyptodons were the most popular ones. But there were several types of Glyptodonts, but today we're just going to be talking about Glyptodons, and they are definitely related to armadillos. We have done an analysis of the mitochondrial genome for Diodicurus. Diodicurus, okay, laugh. I'll give you a second. I'll give you a moment to laugh. which is a genus of the glyptodons. And if you don't know what a genus is, I didn't either, but it basically just means like, you know, like there's a species and then within that species there's like a subspecies. That's a genus. But anyways, these results from this test from the mitochondrial genomes came back positive, so
You are the father.
now, glyptodons were believed to have been around at least 38 million years ago, and it is believed that they went extinct around 12,000 years ago. So they were around for a very, very long time, millions and millions of years. Now, I was trying to look into why they went extinct. Some sources say that we really have no idea. Other sources theorized it may have been due to hunters because we actually used to hunt them. We would hunt them because we liked to use their shells as little huts because their shells were pretty big, so we would hunt them, take them out of their shell and go in their shell because they provided good warmth, good shelter, they were very strong, which is crazy. It's insane that there were animals so big that we could like hunt them and then use their shell as little huts. Like armadillos, they were mainly plant eaters, but they would also sometimes eat insects. They actually were very famous. They had a career in acting. They debuted in Ice Age.
He said something about being on the verge of an evolutionary breakthrough.
A really fun fact about these guys is they actually had an armored tail. So it wasn't only their shells that kept them safe. They would swing their tail around and hit predators or each other with it because oftentimes the males would fight, probably for either territorial reasons or because of mating reasons. So Pokemon coded! Speaking of Pokemon coded, this next one, Beelzebufo. These animals were also known as devil frog, devil toad, and the frog from hell. I don't know why we have it out for these frogs. So Beelzebufo were very large frogs that were prehistoric and lived from about 70 million years ago. They may have been the largest frog to ever exist. It's theorized that they went extinct along with many other creatures during the Great Extinction in the late Cretaceous period. The first fossil bones were found in 1993 by a man named David W. Caruso, but it actually took 14 years for scientists to compile a sufficient amount of evidence in order to publish their findings in the PNAS, or the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, which is a peer-reviewed scientific journal. Its scientific name, Beelzebufo, is a combination of two separate words, one being Beelzebub, which is the alter ego of the devil, and the word Beelzebub can also be translated from devil to also Lord of the Flies. They were probably trying to be funny, like, haha, get it? Like, it's a scary big frog, like, so devil, but then it was also, you know, Lord of the Flies because they eat flies and, you know, like, they eat insects. The second word is bufo, which means toad. It's Latin for toad. So, not as original, unique, and funny. Their snout to vent length, which is the length from their mouth to their potty hole, was 16 inches on average, and their weight was an estimated 10 pounds on average. So big boys, big boys. And what is so cool about these guys is their mouths were especially big and their bites were especially hard and strong, and it helps them hunt because they were carnivores. And no, I don't just mean little insects, okay? I mean small dinosaurs, according to popular legend. Last but not least, Longisquama insignis. I'm just gonna call it Squama because I'm not saying the whole name. I'm not standing proudly at a height of 10 centimeters tall. Our next animal is still big in our hearts, okay? These little guys were believed to have lived 235 million years ago. Whoa! They are the oldest on our list. And we actually have a couple good and well-preserved skeletons somehow. They're so old, I can't believe it, but we do. Squamas were named after the distinct appendages that go along down their back and were shaped like hockey sticks. What's interesting about these appendages as well is that each skeleton seems to have a different amount. The purpose of these appendages is widely debated among paleontologists and has been for years. We don't know 100% what they're for. One cool theory, though, is that these appendages were kind of the beginning of feathers, and that they would use these appendages to glide around and fly. It's interesting, though, because they're not quite like a feather, but at this point, there had been no feathered animals or birds yet, and so it may be the missing link that scientists have been looking for from the shift of reptiles to birds. So yes, the squamas may have been the first ever feathered animals, and they may have been the evolutionary in between. But yeah, that's all that I have for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any ideas. If you're still here, I love you. Thank you so much for watching this far in. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye!